Good afternoon on this lovely Thursday afternoon. It is at 1 o'clock time for KTN Newsdesk on the 16th day of January 2014. My name is Bonny Tunya and this is news brought to you as it happens. As always, we have a lot in store for you, but first, let's take a look at the highlights. Nyeri birth tragedy. Woman sues Nyeri Provincial General Hospital after a baby died minutes after birth. And cutting down to size, a cabinet secretary, a senator and MPs now pile pressure to reduce governor's power to manage county resources. Also in this bulletin, we take you across border to South Sudan, and rebel forces say they are under attack despite an end to hostilities condition set for negotiations. Now this and more will be coming up in this particular bulletin. You're watching Newsdesk. Welcome to the program. We kick off this bulletin in Nyeri County, and a mother who says her newborn baby died because she gave birth while standing is accusing the Nyeri Provincial General Hospital of negligence. The woman and her husband say the baby came straight from the womb and hit the head on the floor, dying minutes later. Now, the husband, Peter Ndingiri, said he received a call from his wife this morning telling him that the baby had fallen on the floor during delivery. Efforts to resuscitate the baby boy were futile. And after the medical attempted. Now, the medical superintendent Silas Njoroge admitted that the unfortunate incident had happened but attributed it to a shortage of staff. Njoroge said that the nurses in charge were busy attending to another patient who had come in with a ruptured uterus and were away when nobody attended to Charity Wanjiru.
Hawa madaktari saa zingine wanakuwa irresponsible. Juu wakati tuliingia the first time tulipata hao nurses wakiwa wamelalia meza, mmoja amelala kwa meza, mmoja amekaa kwa kiti, wakalala for about 45 minutes. Tulikuwa tumewangoja tu hapo nje, ndio tuliona wameamka mahali walikuwa wanalala. So hiyo kitu mia ikunifurahisha hata kidogo.
Sana shidwa. Toka mwezi wa kwanza mpaka mwezi wa 9 nilikuwa na expect nipate mtoto, na nilikuwa tayari kulea huyo mtoto. Sasa sina, na mama ako hapa kwa hospitali, nikulia tu. Sasa nashindwa kweli, hiyo ni matibabu kweli?
And this incident happened when the patient was delivering. The nurses also had other patients. They were looking at critical patients, and unfortunately she delivered while standing. And as you know, when you are standing, legs apart, the infant, the baby, fell on the floor and hit the ground with the head. And of course the child was resuscitated, but unfortunately passed away within 10 minutes.
The High Court has declined to allow the Orange Democratic Movement and the Nairobi City Council to be enjoined in a case against Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero and Woman Representative Rachel Shebesh. The ruling by Justice David Majanja also handed Kidero and Shebesh a reprieve after it extended orders blocking their arrest until the hearing and determination of their petitions challenging their charges on February the 7th. The two have failed to reach an out-of-court settlement as directed by the same court. The two politicians are to face prosecution after the Director of Public Prosecution, Keriako Tobiko, approved an investigation report over the incident in September last year, where Shebesh was allegedly slapped by the governor, Dr. Evans Kidero. Kidero, in his part, faces assault charges, while Shebesh is facing charges of causing disturbance.
We have been joining as interested parties. Now, just seeking your direction, should we make a formal application to be enjoined with this one, or will
section of old guard in the Orange Democratic Movement stepped aside to allow the young Turks to scramble for party positions in the February elections. The Funyula MP, Paul Otuoma, threw his hat into the ring. He now says he's going for the position of ODM chairman.
I believe that the Orange Democratic Movement as a party needs to inject in new blood, new leadership. And I think having been with this movement for almost now 10 years and having been part of the reform agenda of this country since our school days, which are now is almost running 20 years, I believe I have what it takes to provide the leadership that is required to take the Orange Democratic Movement Party to the next level.
Right, moving on to other matters, an early morning fire destroyed nearly all the goods after property within the factory premises belonging to the Star Plastics in Nairobi industrial area caught fire today. Although the goods within the premise were reduced to ashes, nobody was injured in the 5 a.m. incident. The factory makes plastics and glue.
Stand huko paka upitie the other side. The fire engines arrived around 5:15 and they were able to cool down the fire, but fortunately nobody was in the company. They had closed. We were suspecting that there was some fire surge, electricity surge. That's what caused the fire. That's what the initial report we were getting. But we are going to investigate and know what really caused this fire.
Let's come back to Nairobi. And the Committee on the Rapid Restoration of Westgate Shopping Mall is set to hold public hearings starting next week. The committee, which was formed following the terrorist attack on the Westgate Mall, will receive formal submissions from the public as it works towards restoring the shopping mall. Committee members visited the mall on a fact-finding mission ahead of the sittings. The committee is looking to restore business by regaining shoppers' confidence. The public hearings will be held for 5 days starting Monday the 20th of January and will run from 9 to 5 p.m. every day. The committee, which is chaired by Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero, was appointed by East African Affairs, Commerce and Tourism Cabinet Secretary Felix Kandie. The team is expected to deliver a report to Kandie within a month for action based on the recommendations. Right, and leaders from Ukambani have been urged to embrace progressive politics as a means of enshrining and enriching the lives of their constituents. The Machakos Governor, Dr. Alfred Mutua, says confrontational and divisive politics is derailing development efforts in that county. His Makueni counterpart, Professor Kivutha Kibwana, said leaders needed to nurture younger politicians in Ukambani to ensure continuity and ensure the future of the region in national leadership. The two are speaking during the launch of the carpeting of the Katumani Wote Road at the Kole Market.
Tumeregarega kwa siasa mbaya. Sisi mahali tumefikia sasa, lazima tuchague maendeleo, sio kelele. Kupiga kelele ni bure. Kupiga kelele hakuhitaji akili. Kunahitaji tu mdomo na kutupa mikono. Sisi tunasema hatutaki siasa ya kelele, tunataka siasa ya maendeleo, ndio tuweze kuwasaidia watoto wetu na kina mama wetu.
Vijana wale wanajitokeza sasa pia wanashikwa mkono, wanakuwa supported, ndio uongozi wao ujionyeshe, ujidhihirishe.
Meru County leaders have urged residents to cease and desist from ever holding demonstrations again. The request comes after hawkers within Meru town held demonstrations following a directive from the governor to remove them from the town's premises. One person was shot dead and several others injured. The demonstration turned chaotic and hawkers engaged police in running battles for at least 5 hours. Business in Meru town came to complete standstill, and even today tensions are still high in the area. Leaders have also asked the Meru County Governor Peter Munya to give hawkers alternative space to sell their wares. Now, the hawkers have been protesting since Monday when the directive was issued to kick them out of town.
But it is a very bad show. Young people being incited kupigana na askari bila sababu. Some of them very drunk, they do not even know what is going on. Ningesihi sana wananchi tuzidi kudumisha amani, na kitu kama hii ni aibu sana. Kupigana hadharani, kufunga barabara, biashara zimesimama. Kama iko tatizo, tukae chini tuongee. Tuko na viongozi, tuko na akili timamu, tunaweza kuongea na tuelewane na tujenge nchi yetu bila kuharibu mali ya wenyewe.
Ile ahadi walipeana kwamba wataturudishia makioski, waturudishie hizo makioski kwa haraka iwezekanavyo wiki hii, na tumesema wakiweza kuturudishia hakuna sababu ya kurudi maandamano. Maandamano sio kitu mzuri, mtu anaweza kuumia. Leo tumepoteza watu wawili kwa risasi, hatutaki kupoteza watu wengine.
Villagers of Kagumoine village in Murang'a County have exhumed a body suspected to be that which was reported missing in Kiriaini Mission Hospital mortuary last weekend. It was later confirmed that indeed the wrong family had been given and had buried the body. Now here are the details.
Villagers from Kagumoine village in Mathioya, Murang'a County, gather at the gravesite not to witness a burial of one of their own, but on a different mission. To witness the exhumation of a body they buried just a week ago. From a distance, they whisper to each other, shock evident on their faces, most wondering what could have gone wrong. They are later informed that he who is lying here is not the person they thought he was. They had taken and buried a wrong body. After hours of digging, the exhumed body was returned to Kiraine Mission Hospital mortuary.
Mwili tulitoa Kiraine Mission Hospital, na tulipotoa yeye ndio tukaleta mwili yake, alafu tukaweza kuizika.
The family of Alexander Waiganjo only realized they had buried the wrong body after they received a call from another family which had reported a missing body of their relative at Kiriaine Mission Hospital mortuary.
Mimi nikiwa Nairobi nikapigia kansula huyu mambo simu, nikamwambia ni afadhali muende muangalie kama vile wanasema ati mwili yetu. Sasa walipoenda ndio sasa wakampata bado mwili yetu bado iko mortuary, lakini ile confusion ilikuwako the label.
KTN covered the story of Edward Kariuki's family last weekend when they found the body of their relative missing at the hospital. They had organized a burial of Waiganjo at Kamacharia village in the same area last Friday, only to be informed that his body could not be traced. The family recorded statements at Kiraine police station and the search for his body kicked off. After days of searching, they later got an order from Kangema law courts to exhume the body that was suspected to be that of their missing relative. And luckily enough, they got a confirmation and finally were able to collect and bury the body of Alexander Waiganjo. He was laid to rest next to his late wife. Area OCPD Charles Mutua cautioned families to be keen when picking bodies from the mortuary in order to avoid similar occurrences. Zubeida Kome, KTN Newsdesk.
Welcome back. You're watching KTN Newsdesk. We'll shift gears to business now. And the Kenya Association of Manufacturers has asked the government to reduce the excessive taxes levied on manufacturers' products. The manufacturers, led by Chairman Polycarp Igathe, engaged cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and heads of parastatals during a meeting held in Nairobi, urged the state to consider a policy that unleashes enabling tax environment in areas of security, cost of energy, and regulation.
Our tax policy leans too much on generating revenue to pay the costs for government, and I think tax matters. In many other countries around the world and in many geographies in the world, tax policy has unleashed manufacturing, and we are looking for enabling tax policy. There is, for instance, no justification why in Kenya there is an import declaration fee, while in the other East African countries there isn't. There is absolutely no justification why there should be excise duty on cosmetics, because our government is still thinking that cosmetics is a luxury.
In South Sudan, heavy fighting continues in Malakal, the state capital of oil-producing Upper Nile state. Rebel forces staged a fresh attack to seize the town. Malakal has already changed hands twice since the conflict began. Now, rebel spokesman Lul Ruai Kwang, speaking in neighboring Ethiopia, boasted that the insurgents had recaptured Malakal. But there was no confirmation from the army.
We are doing it because we have been attacked several times, and we defeated the government forces and ended up dislodging them in Malakal. By yesterday evening at 4, our forces defeated government forces in Gudmakur, Sudan, Safar, and Mangala. We are not attacking. We are being attacked. We are being attacked. If you have been monitoring, if you have been following up, in the last 2 days we have been reporting to you that our forces are being attacked.
Right. Whenever you're in traffic, you can't help but just wish there was an alternative. Now, some people are very evil and they wish for blowing up of some of the cars in front of them. Others wish they could just fly over them. Well, the latter option may just be now available to the ordinary person. Mankind's primordial dream of flight is taking off with a new twist as a Slovak prototype of a flying car spreads its wings. Now, the vehicle, which seats two and can be driven like a car, has folding wings that deploy for flight. Now, a 100 horsepower engine drives the vehicles for ground travel and spins a rear mounted propeller and push it through the air. It is designed to cruise at about 100 miles an hour, and the Slovakian vehicle appears to be a few years behind the transition in development, but its presence suggests that there is a market for such hybrid road-air vehicles today. The combination of lightweight materials, more efficient engines, and more flexible rules in civil aviation could make flying cars feasible for broader audience. You know the drill. You can engage with me with whatever story you've watched on the news desk, and the handle is at KTN Newsdesk or at KTN Kenya. I'll be glad to engage with you. You also remember the website you need to be checking out this afternoon for all the stories from the county and elsewhere is standardmedia.co.ke. This is about all we had for you this afternoon. I will see you again for business in the evening. Good afternoon.